as we're kind of trickling back in here. So as you can see up on our screen, we do have a Patreon. The Patreon actually helps me pay my players. This, of course, isn't the only thing. Anything that comes in through Twitch or YouTube, I also pay my players with, which hopefully the payments have actually gone through on everyone's end. My bank still says they're processing, so I don't know if it actually came through.
Get wrecked, nerd.
And Tori, you still need to give me yours.
Nope.
But yes, so patreon.com/TMO Creations is kind of how we use this. It's not going to just be this campaign either. Any future campaigns run by people kind of through this channel is going to be supported here, and you get early access to videos. So every Tuesday, if you need to catch up, the videos will drop for you early. For public, it's Thursday, sometimes Friday if I'm forgetful. As well, you can of course always go to youtube.com/themustached-owl where the videos are. So if you ever want to catch up, we have all 8 episodes currently on there. But yeah, I think everyone's doing good. We're all back. I am curious, what is everyone's gaming go-to snack? Like me personally, like honey roasted peanuts or honey roasted almonds. Like I'll eat those all fucking day as a snack.
You know mine.
Yeah, I do know yours.
Chili cheese Fritos.
They are the bane of your existence.
Those are the twist ones, right? No, those are honey barb.
Yeah, the honey barbecue twists are also really good though. Back in college, I used to have a time on Wednesdays, I think it was, where I had like just enough time to go get a cup of chili and a bag of those honey barbecue, and I'd go back to my dorm and I'd watch Zero Punctuation and just pour those into the chili and just like have a fun little lunch. I don't know. Yep. I miss that ritual sometimes.
It's those little creature comfort rituals that are so good. Aaron, what about you? What's your favorite gaming snack, be it tabletop or video?
Probably Skittles, because it's like something. They're small, they're not messy. You just pop them and go.
Ah, it's a good one. It's a
and
good
especially,
one.
like if I'm DMing, especially, I don't want something that I'm gonna have like my mouth full. I just want to be able to.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Skittles are my favorite candy.
Skittles are. I have problems with my back molars on the top, so I can't eat chewy candies. But oh man, when I had good teeth, Skittles were fucking. I'd pop a couple of those when I work security, pop a couple of those in my mouth, do a round, and just be like, all right, I got something in my mouth, I'm doing good. Tori, what about you? What are your favorite snacks? I'm gonna pop you in my mouth. Never mind, we're gonna stop. Oh, just full stop right there.
God damn it.
I know Spoopies, but yep, just nice chips and dips. That's her go-to. Tori, what about you? Come on, what's your favorite snack?
I have no idea.
Really? Are you the snack connoisseur where you just kind of do a little bit of everything based on what you're feeling?
Yep.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I can respect that.
I'm really good with snacks.
Yeah. I thought Tori was like Piccolo, and it was just water.
I do nothing but hydrate. Oh my gosh.
Hydrate.
I mean, that is a channel redemption for a reason. But yeah, so.
Yeah.
We're all back. We're all doing good. So. You all have victoriously dismembered and destroyed and just absolutely obliterated these corpses. I'd call it desecration, but they kind of attacked you first. So, you know, they kind of deserved it in that point. Just to catch everyone up a little bit. One of these corpses did actually have a tattoo on them. And to give a quick re-description of the stasis tower, this stasis tower is much smaller than the other ones for the dome size that it creates. And it is also of a strange construction. Instead of a single crystal with like vents and regulators and kind of like this metal casing attached to it, this one is more of a pylon that is of 3 different levels, one of which is just literally the crystal. It's also a crystal of a different composition, which you don't see. But going forward, our 4 here have victoriously fought off their would-be assailants, and are now kind of going to rendezvous with a friend of some of the higher ups in the guild association that you only know by the name of James. Which actually, I need to go. No, I have his stuff memorized, so we'll just move on ahead. So before we move to your meeting location, is there anything the four of you would want to do?
Well, for starters, like, what was that about?
That is a good question.
I think they were watching us. Or at least the skull was. And I have to wonder if that's what raised the others.
But the skull looked like it was heading off north towards that settlement up there.
I think we connect with our contact and we immediately book it up there to make sure everyone's okay.
Probably a good idea.
Okay. So we will do just that. So.
But wait.
But wait, Tori.
But wait, I want to pour some super glue on me.
Oh, yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Pathfinder Paizo as a whole kind of saw the mechanics of medicine in D&D and went, nobody uses this. Spoiler alert, they're correct. And so they made medicine and combat medicine, or battle medicine. That's what it's called, right, Tori? Battle medicine?
Oh, well, so that's my like, I can use that during combat one. I was just gonna like.
So combat skills you can use outside of combat as well.
Yeah, but then I'm immune to it for a day.
True. But yeah, so they actually made combat medicine, which is a ability to treat wounds in combat, and it's actually really, really nice. It's basically one-time use per day. Depending on the level of treat wounds that you do, it is either 1d8, 2d8, or a couple other special things. So, Tori, you wanted to pour super glue on yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
I can detect magic on this tower if we want to. Just throwing it out there.
I can as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. So if either one of you activate it, while you kind of sense a trailing, or fading feeling of magic from the you could surmise from the skull because it's fading very quickly. The tower itself doesn't feel magical. It almost feels like a absence of magic. The runes kind of crackle a little bit to you, so you get like that sense that there was something there and there might be some residual energy. And the crystal itself also feels oddly devoid of magic. But again, for some reason, that light is still swirling in it. Like if magic or electricity was running through it, it would have that effect. But when you sense magic, when you kind of like put those feelers out, it does feel oddly devoid, which is different than other. Like if you're looking at just like a plant, you're just like, there's no magic here. It's almost like there's a lack of or an absence of it. Like,
would it be obvious?
We'll do Aaron and then Spoopy.
Would it be obvious, just based on our knowledge of the stasis towers, that this isn't working because there's no magic in the crystal?
Yeah. That's pretty basic Arcanotech. So you would be like, oh, there's no magic running through the runes or the crystal. So the stasis, like the stasis spell has nothing to power it or to keep it active.
Okay.
Spoopy?
I was wondering if I could do an engineering lore check to see if I have ever heard of or seen anything like this particular crystal, since it looks so...
Go for it.
How's it 26?
So as far as most Arcanotech crystals go, or crystals used in Arcanotech, something like this does not look like an actual amplifier. From your knowledge of Arcanotech, and especially Elvish engineering, which you're somewhat familiar with, due to your father, you're definitely much more in tune with Dwarven engineering. But you have a pretty good knowledge of all others.
Let's say biologically.
Biologically, actually, you would still be more in tune. Well, actually, no. Biologically, you'd probably like more the elegance of the Elvish engineering.
Yeah.
Even with that knowledge and that history to you, this is completely foreign. Like, something is very weird. Kind of going off what I was explaining with Aaron, it feels like there should be magic in this crystal, because it is of an arcanotech structure. But something is so weird that it like if we were to put it on like a number scale, 1 being magical, 2 being neutral, this is almost like a -1.
With my brain, Crystal, could I almost call it a dampener at this point?
No, because it's not
Or,
dampening
like, it's
magic.
empty.
It's almost like empty. All right. Any other questions, rolls, observations?
Yeah, you said it was made out of a strange blue stone.
Yes.
As a dwarf growing up in those environs, with that heritage, can I identify it at all?
Yeah, go ahead and make me just a general lore check. Actually, we'll do lore. Lore or history, whichever is higher for you.
I guess just lore.
Okay. So you can't pinpoint with a 12, you can't really like pinpoint the exact nature of the stone. But it definitely does look like it would be of a northern Phaeton composition. It's very, very hard. To the point where, like, if you were to take a chisel to it, it would take some serious effort to break this stone apart. You do nothing near where you grew up, or even where your ancestors grew up. The Emberbeard clan, while split off from another clan, definitely grew up in more of the central to like central eastern part of Phaeton, where the stone in your mountains are the lighter stone is more like limestone, so like the softer stone, so very easy to work with, very easy to craft, very, very good for like decoration. And then like limestone and sandstone are kind of what you're used to. This is almost like basalt. It's very crystalline in structure, it's very, very hard, and it's kind of foreign to you almost.
But I know it's from the north.
Yeah, you could be like, based on like your knowledge, you'd probably be about like 75% absolutely certain that it's from the northern hemisphere.
I'll just kind of wander about that out loud. Rock from the north. People here from the north. Weird.
We're connecting dots. Charlie Day just like yarn in a corkboard.
Just to be sure that my party understands the same connection that I'm making.
Yep. All right.
Ember hears it, but honestly, Ember doesn't either doesn't parse it or doesn't care.
Just
it's
kinda
not
like-
a lack of.
You're just
Ember
like
knows her place in the party, and it's not the thinking.
Ember is like, I murder and I murder good and I make sure my party doesn't get murdered. That is my job. Like, that is my title to a T.
Not not intelligent. She just knows other people are way more intelligent.
Nothing wrong with that. Tori, my dear, is there anything you would like to take care of before we move on?
I'm just mathing things out real quick.
Okay. Are you okay with me moving on, or is it you want to math things out? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm doing my rolls outside of the.
So, you all bring out the maps that Milia and Varric gave you. And thankfully, it was Varric who drew these maps, as they are much better quality than Milia. And so, following the Torren's directions, you head south to your meetup. So after about probably like 45 minutes, it's close to about a mile and a half away, you start to see a structure. But it doesn't quite look what you would think as a settlement. It is actually... Give me a perception check, everyone.
Oh.
Just waiting for embers to pop up. All right, so none of you except for Hana. You're just like, wow, those are some gray structures. Like, that's really odd. Hana, you're just like, that's a cemetery. Like, you immediately notice that there's a gate and that there's a mausoleum behind it. And going forward, you also know that there is a figure kind of leaning up against the gate. It's not moving. It's just kind of sitting there leaning, arms crossed back and everything, head down.
I'm just gonna, before we approach it, this is a graveyard. Pointing that out.
I don't see any sort of church or temple nearby.
Nope.
Not a good sign.
So, as you continue forward, probably, I'm assuming, a little more cautiously, everyone go ahead and give me another perception check. So, right now, you're probably about, like, 100 feet out from this individual.
Yes, we wasted all our good rolls in combat.
I was gonna be like, y'all just fucking used up all good rolls. The RNGesus has just dipped from this campaign for this session entirely. Hana, you're able to kind of like recognize pretty quickly, like not very well. But this is an actual person. They're of about normal stature. So that of like an average human. So kind of like same, a little bit taller than Ember. Oddly thin. And again, it's just not moving. The rest of you are just like, this is a vast wasteland and everything looks peachy keen. So.
I'm gonna just like have my pistol at the ready as we approach.
Okay. So again, you're about 100 feet out, closing in. What do y'all want to do?
Rather strange place for someone to hang out.
We were told this was a rendezvous point.
Gonna
Nice.
keep moving closer, or would you like to make another perception check?
A perception check on my end, please.
Would anyone like to make another one as well?
Whew! No.
Hey, there you go. So, Hana, you're a little shaken up by the fact of this creepiness. Ember, you just like snap to attention all of a sudden, and you realize that the individual that is standing at the gate, one, is not encased in ice at all for being in the empty void. Two, you also recognize that there is absolutely no stasis field around them. They're not moving. They're not encased in ice, though, which, you know, if you know of the vast cold of anywhere that's not within an atmosphere, it should be encased in a sheet of ice if it isn't moving. This individual, though, is just honestly looks like it's leaning up against the gate, completely relaxed, but also it doesn't have skin.
Are they
That's
encased in a gold titanium alloy?
Nope. They're actually dressed in pretty, like, common clothes. Not too far off from what you all would see on Phaeton, Mu, and Lambda. They're very, like... Ember, you recognize it as, like, honestly, if there was a town, like, a little bit east past Darfir, that would actually be kind of dressed like them.
Do you want to stop short and just kind of yell?
I mean, you could, but unfortunately after your stasis field, there's no air for sound to travel.
Oh, right.
I'm
Does
going
anyone
to
know-
wave.
You're going to wave?
It's not going to be one of these. It's going to be
So, you know, Ember cautiously, again, you guys probably have moved forward a little bit, I'm assuming. Like, very cautiously, of course. It's...
great swords fully drawn at this point.
Yeah, you're just like...
Yeah.
Wait, I have the message spell.
You have the message
Hey,
spell.
There we go.
There you go. Go for it. What would you like to send to this individual?
Good question. What would we like to say to this individual?
We're looking for a James. That was the name we were given for our contact.
Okay. I'll
Art thou friend or foe?
Weird questions to ask back to back, but I've got it.
Wait,
See.
ask them if they say that the Torrens sent us. It's easy.
Ask what?
Tell them that the Torrens sent us. If they are James, then that means that they know Millie and Varric.
Okay.
Okay. So, you
Do they know where the nearest tea shop is?
Possibly. So, Raga.
This is getting lengthy.
This is getting lengthy a little bit. We'll just shorten it up to the, are you James or know of James, and have the Torrens sent us, or have.
And if not, are you a foe?
Yeah.
Question mark.
So, you send the message off, and the figure stirs a little bit, and all four of you hear in your head, well, geez, it took y'all long enough to try and introduce yourself. Otherwise, that'd be a little bit rude if I do say so myself. And it walks towards you. And as it walks towards you, you notice very quickly, it is a skeleton. It does have lights in its eye sockets, no eye sockets, whatever, but it is walking towards you. There's no animosity towards it, though. And as it walks towards you, it kind of goes, well, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is James McGuffin. But don't worry, my friends call me Slim Jim. I am what you would call a representative of the nearby establishment, and I'm the one who actually requested some help from the Torrens. But I expected to see my two lasses here, my lass and my lad here, but I'm greeted by four of you. Would y'all care to explain? And again, this is the skull's mouth isn't moving. This is all in your head.
Do you realize you're dead?
Well, let's just say that I've been around for a little bit while, and death hasn't been too kind to me or my like. But I can explain that to you all in further details. But I ask that you, odd question, to trust me. But please put your weapons away and join me in my abode. My fellow citizens here are kind, and it'll make sense in the long run. But if you would be so kind, please do follow me. We have a lot to talk about here soon.
Can we just have one moment?
Take all the time you need, lass.
Team huddle. This is a literal skeleton. We're just gonna follow him?
I mean, I'm a talking fox.
Right, but living creature and usually not evil aligned.
What if he has a bone to pick with us?
Also, it's not McGuffin, it's McGinnon. It's James G. McGinnon. I forgot. Sorry, I mixed that up.
A little Freudian slip there.
Little
huh?
Freudian slip.
I'm so happy right now, you have no idea.
Do not forget you are on mute, my dear Riley.
I'm so goddamn happy.
I am glad you are happy.
You gave me back India.
Oh,
Well, if
that's
he's the guy we're supposed to meet.
Right. I'm just gonna do like a quick like Hail Mary over all of us, like just a little protection, asking for.
so. I guess the question is then, would you all follow Slim Jim?
I would cautiously. I still have the ability to quick draw, so I'll probably like kind of tuck away my weapon, but enough to where I can just, if I need to.
You just shove Ember forward.
So Slim Jim's just kind of sitting there watching
Proceed
y'all
with
huddle and
caution.
everything, and just kind of like being very patient.
This is
Oh.
who we were told to meet. Proceed with caution.
All right. I take it that's your plan of action then? All right, so you four cautiously follow James here, and he leads you through the cemetery and actually into the mausoleum. And when you get into the mausoleum, there's a stairway where normally a coffin would be. And he goes, now I understand this is going to be a little weird. Again, I've been around for a long while, and it takes some getting used to. He goes, just to explain a little bit, a long time ago, what you all would call pre-shattering, a few of my fellows and I were actually resurrected by a novice necromancer. The problem with that, though, is that if any of you have knowledge of necromancy, we should have all been mindless slaves. But ever since, probably then at least, death's been a little weird, and kinder to some of us than others. And he leads you down, and you're walking, and there's, it's a carved out tunnel all the way down. He just continues talking. There's torches lighting the way, so you're not, in the dark. He goes, now, when the shattering happened, we were kind of spared from the larger destruction of it as we were underground here. And we've been trying to pick up the pieces of our fellow undead. You see, as I've stated, death is being a little bit strange. It's not one way anymore for everyone. And you reach the end of the tunnel, and it's this huge cavern, right? And there's houses and roads built into it. It's almost pretty, Aaron, your character would actually feel almost akin to a dwarven town, inside a mountain. He goes, we have been thriving here, and we actually have had trade routes with nearby my settlements pre-shattering. But you would be surprised the shock it was to us when a stasis tower dropped. We had been devoid of contact for years upon years. And lo and behold, the stasis tower drops, and there's people again. There's life again. It's a little weird. But this stasis tower has caused some strange effects for most of us. And when it went off, or failed, I should say, we ended up getting a lot more people down here than we were used to. And I've been able to reach out to most of the undead and kind of wake them up from that rage. But, and you can kind of see the mood in him changes. He goes, there's one that I've regretted more than anything. You see, when the settlement first started, we watched them because we're undead. Face of matter, we're all monsters in a lot of people's eyes. But this is something that we never asked for. It's something we've been cursed with. If you're a soul and you pass on to the afterlife and you are greeted by, your heaven, Lass, for example, and he points to you, Raga, he goes, when you die, you expect to see your ancestors, your God. And to be taken away from that, you obviously would be right angry. You had reached your salvation, and it was taken from you. So I have made it my life mission to try and help those around us to kind of get used to living again, in a sense of words. And so when the settlement failed and all those people died, we tried. Some were a little too lost, and some I couldn't reach. But there's one that haunts me to this day. The settlement had no children. It was meant to be mostly researchers and scientists from what we ascertained. And as you all are walking through the catacombs, you can see that there are a lot of different clothing, some have skin, some don't. There's undead of a wide variety, but it feels like you're in a town, people are talking, their mouths are moving, but no sound is coming out, but they're communicating. It feels like a town and everything. And he goes, and Slim continues on. He goes, you would have, my surprise when a child was born, but 2 years after the settlement started, it was explosive. These people were excited. And the unfortunate thing is that when the tower fell, so did everyone. There was no preparation, it was instant. And this child is the one that I could not reach. When it passed away, I made it my mission to try and at least save it, because like everything else here, it did raise from the grave. And to be a child with no parents is a horror that even I can't imagine. But something has always stopped me, be it the other undead or just its fear. I have never been able to reach it. He goes, my greatest regret is this. So I asked the Torrens to help me with it many, many moons ago, but understandably, they, told me that they couldn't do it, but they would find time and find reason. So my question to you is this: can you go to the settlement and at least put this child to peace? We have found through some unsavory clashes with these other undead that when you put them down again, they do stay down. But I do not want to bring that upon a child. If we can find a way to put its soul to rest without violence again, I would be forever grateful. So, can you do that for me, please?
We can try.
He goes, I thank you from, well, I would say my heart, but I feel that gesture might be a little bit hollow. He goes, any information I can give you all about this, or anything I can answer, please do ask.
So what is it that we need to do in order to not kill it, then?
Okay, so, Spoopy, Carp, gonna put you in a box, put you to the side. I will answer all your questions in a second. So, Tori, there could be a large range of things. Try and think of, like, the fact that this is a child who unfortunately died in a very horrific way. Because if you think about it, the atmosphere around them disappeared, right? Almost instantaneously. Everyone, unfortunately, here has died a very, very bad death. And so the child has a lot of rage built up because it couldn't find its parents. There was no one to protect it. It feels alone, right? So I'm not going to give you the answers, but try and think of it like that. Like, if you were a child that was alone and terrified, and all these people that you used to know have raised around you and just become monsters, it's scared, to say the very least. And then one another that looks like it, no matter what the intentions behind it, it's probably not going to understand what it's doing and probably run away and hide. Spoopy?
Oh, who is this child born of? Do you know?
Well, I do believe there were, this seems to be something different than what the Torrens are part of. They explained to me that they're part of a guild association of sorts. These people had no markings of the same. They spoke very differently in a different tone. So the best I can surmise is that they're from a completely different organization or even place. If memory does serve me well, they did seem a little foreign for what we're used to here. You have to understand, everyone around us, we kind of had to watch from afar. We did have people who were very, very kind and actually helped us establish trade routes so that we could grow and get the resources we need to thrive, such as lumber and stone. But aside from those four, we really didn't see a whole lot of people. Those five. But if I had to take a guess, I'm assuming it would probably be towards someone in the settlement themselves, maybe someone of that had a little more money and room, because a lot of the houses over there are very small, or they're just laboratories for doing research. There is one large building that I was never able to get close to, as there is always a hostile force there keeping me out.
What sort of hostile force?
The general undead that have been kind of like clashing with them. So,
you have any recollection of anything that could have caused the tower to fall?
The day it fell, there were some people kind of tinkering with it. And while this was a usual thing, these people were a little bit different. There was a scuff that broke out between two of them immediately. And mere moments before the tower fell, one of them was actually stabbed by the other one. So the one with the two corpses that you fought, basically. Jim continues on that. He goes, it was very strange. We had never seen any real fighting from our watching. They'd always been seemingly peaceful, definitely very studious types, but they had their fair share of the more military type people. And it was an awful sight. The one who was stabbed stood no chance. It was over almost instantaneously.
Well,
A little smirk there, Riley.
I do declare.
I do declare. He's
I'd
not
say we
quite that.
probably are-
Sorry.
I'd say we're probably left with more questions than what we've had answered, but
Again, so yeah, some Jim is there if you guys have any questions, of course. To just throw a number there for you, since the shattering was about 150 years ago, his second life, shall we call it, along with most of the undead in the catacombs, or I think I named this place the Necropolis, have been there at least pre-shattering, be it a year or two. But if there are no more questions, I think we will actually end it there for today so that Riley can go do her stuff. I can go pick up my car. But if we have no more questions, we'll end it there. We'll pick it up in 2 weeks. But thank you all for joining us. This, of course, is something that I've been working on for a while, and I do actually absolutely love running these. You can always stop and support us by, watching the episodes if you missed them on YouTube. These, of course, each session on Twitch is split in half. We post those videos over at youtube.com/themustached-owl. You can check all of us out on our various Twitters, which are linked to, or through that YouTube, I should say. And you can always support us on patreon.com/TMO Creations. Again, any money that comes to us through that goes and plays my lovely players here and kind of gives us production costs to not only do this show, but some that we have in the future, be it fancy one-shots or possibly our lovely Aaron's homebrew, which I will keep it a secret so that when we actually do start doing this, we can have a big reveal. But we have more projects coming very soon. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their week. Or if you're catching this free, on the Thursday release, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Anyone else got some parting words?
Hey, bow, bow.
All right, so that's all of us signing off. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and thank you for stopping by and watching.
Bye.